guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emery. I'm a senior at the University of Tennessee and I am currently studying abroad in Scotland. And if you don't know why I put quotations over the term studying abroad, just keep watching. I asked you guys to ask me questions about studying / living abroad on my Instagram, so if you don't follow me there, definitely do that. A lot of the questions that I got were just kind of like general questions, so this is probably going to be like kind of like half and half general and then living abroad. If you enjoy this video, of course, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, give me a like, all that good stuff. You already know the deal. I'm actually gonna have a really quick intro this time, so let's get into it. First question is, have you made new friends there or mainly seeing the ones that you already knew? I'd say I've made a few new friends here. Honestly, one of my biggest weaknesses in life is making friends. I tend to be more shy and just like have social anxiety tendencies and low self-esteem and all that fun stuff. I'm the type of person that would rather have like 2 or 3 really close friends than like a larger group of casual friends. So my friends that I've already known that live here, they've already made friends and stuff. So I've actually made friends with a few of them. It's been really fun, like actually getting to like hang out with people though. Like I haven't really done stuff one-on-one with anybody new that I've met here, but it's kind of just like a mix of usually like 3 or 4 or 5 of us. How planned is your future? I'm torn between just living life and not missing out on opportunities. I guess like up until a month ago, I would say my life was pretty well planned out. Like I've never been the person to have like a 5-year plan, but I generally have an idea of what I want to do like next year and like the year after that. And then after that point, it's just like, well, I hope it works out. But I'm kind of at the like, well, I hope it works out point for just like the general future, which I feel like a lot of people are in that boat right now. In my last Q&A, I talked a lot about wanting to go to grad school after I graduate and like wanting to get my MBA. But I've kind of realized over the past month or so that like I'm so burnt out with online learning and just school in general right now that I feel like it probably would not be the right decision and it definitely would not be worth it. So I guess like everything that I've read and been told of like, you should just wait a few years and like work for a few years and then go back and do it, were right. I still definitely want to go back to graduate school, but that was kind of like my plan, and now that's not my plan, so I don't know. But as far as like being torn between just like living in the moment and then having everything planned out, I feel like there's definitely a way to do both. As long as you have a general planned out goal, like it's one thing to have a goal and then it's another thing to have a goal that you like have established like steps of like how you're going to achieve it. So like as long as you have a goal that's well planned out and you're doing things to work on that, I would say just like in your day-to-day life, allow that to be more flexible. There have been times where, you know, it's between hanging out with my friends or going on a drive with my friends or even like going on a weekend trip versus studying more for an exam or a quiz or like writing a paper. And like, obviously that's still stuff that I have to do, but I definitely think that in those situations, the memories and the fun is worth the 3 more points that I would have made on it. Like if it's a difference between like passing and failing, definitely choose to study more. But like, there have been times where it's like, oh, I got an A- instead of an A, but like, I'm not gonna remember that exam 5 years from now, but I'm probably going to remember all the good times that I had with my friends. So I know I'm always very wordy when I answer questions. As long as you have a goal for the future and you don't forget that and you keep working towards it, it's okay to be a bit more relaxed and just like what you're doing day to day. I don't know. I hope that made sense. How has long distance been? It's actually been a lot better than I thought it would be. That's one of the big things that I was really nervous about before I came over here. Because I think previously the longest Ben and I have been apart for was 3-4 weeks, and like that was fine, but like I really missed him. I have obviously still missed him since I've been here, but I feel like we've gotten to a point in our relationship where it's more of like a partnership. Not to say that's any less romantic, but it's like basically we're out of the like honeymoon phase where it's like, oh, I miss you so much. It's like, I know that I'll get to see you. I'm not really in a place where I'm worried about our relationship failing because of distance. Like I think if we've made it this far, over 2.5 years, then things are probably going to be okay to be apart for 3 months. I try to FaceTime him like at least once a week. Usually when I'm cooking and eating dinner is like when he'll be having lunch. So I'll try to like call then. I think I've mentioned a few times that he's visiting. I don't know. I feel like I've filmed so many vlogs and I haven't uploaded them. So like I don't know what's public yet, but he's actually going to be here this Saturday, the 21st. He was actually going to be here last Tuesday, the 10th, but unfortunately he lost his grandfather just of old age. He was actually 96, so It's really impressive. So he moved his flight and he'll be with me for the rest of my time here, so about like 3.5 weeks. Initially when I was planning all of this out, the plan was not for him to visit, but then I think probably like a week, like less than 2 weeks before I left, he decided that he did want to visit. And from then on, it was a lot easier to deal with things. Part of the difficulty in long distance, at least doing something like fun like this, is the things that I've experienced. It's like, oh, well, I want to experience them with you, and like, I want to show you the city, and instead I'm just gonna like tell you about it, but it'll never be the same. So like, now that he gets to visit, I'm like, oh yay, like I can share all this with you. How are you able to buy so many cool designer pieces on a student's budget? So I guess two things. First of all, I'm going to be super transparent with you guys here. Like, I'm still supported by my parents. I have worked in the past. Obviously, I'm not working now. I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I don't have to pay my rent. I don't have to buy groceries because I'm living at home. And so like pretty much all the money that I earn is spending money. And I know obviously not everyone is in that position. Like, a lot of people aren't. Once again, I'm very, very thankful for that. But also the designer goods that I buy generally are not new. Like the Dior sneakers that I got a few weeks ago, those were from Depop. Like, yeah, they were still expensive, but I think they were probably like 30% less than they were on their website. Rebag is one of my favorite websites. I love Poshmark. I'm trying to think, there's another one that I really like and I can't remember, but I'll put it here once I remember. I don't know if you can see like my Palm Springs backpack. Like, I just got that on Poshmark and it was like $80, so it's definitely not real, but it looks the same. I feel like just from Instagram and stuff, it looks like I have all of this designer stuff, but I only have a few pieces. But once again, I know that I'm very privileged just to have anything designer. But yeah, I definitely recommend shopping secondhand for designer goods, especially because I don't like supporting designer companies directly. I don't know. How are you doing with sleep, time change wise? I know you've struggled with that in the past. Not very good, if I'm being honest. I was gonna say, I haven't adjusted to the time change yet, but I have, because I've been going to bed at like 3 a.m., which is when I go to bed normally. If there is one thing that I could change about myself, it would honestly be to be a morning person, but I'm not. If you guys have been around for years and years, you'll know that I have delayed sleep phase disorder, which I think I explained in an old video. I'll try to link it there if you guys want to watch that. I don't know if I want anyone to see that. I also have insomnia and ADHD, which actually does affect sleep. It is kind of like a which came first, the chicken or the egg situation. Like, researchers don't know if ADHD causes sleep problems or if they're just like hand in hand. But yeah, for me, sleep is a nightmare. That's actually one of the things that I do really like about online classes, because like, I don't have to get up and go to school. Like, I just open my laptop and all of my classes are in the morning at home, which means that they're in the afternoon here. So the earliest class that I have is 11:30 at home, which is 4:30 p.m. here. So I can still kind of like sleep late and stuff. Like, as much as I enjoy that, it's probably, I don't even enjoy that. As much as that's what is natural for my body, I wish it wasn't, and I kind of wish I had some sort of motivation to get up early, which I know you're probably gonna say, look, okay, just get up early, but that's a total rabbit hole that I'm not even going to explain right now because it would be minutes long. But like I've said, if there's one thing that I could change about myself, it would be being able to get up early, but it's genuinely the hardest thing I do every day. Anyway, how do you know what to pack and what to leave at home? This is another one where I feel like I also kind of failed on it. Not failed, but I think if I came back, I would definitely know what to pack now. I guess overall I just packed too much, which, surprise, surprise, I knew I was gonna do that. I forget that there's a Zara, Topshop, and a huge H&M here, which are like my 3 favorites, so I've bought a lot of stuff. I'm probably going to have to ship some stuff back. Like, it's definitely not going to fit in my suitcase. There are also some things that I packed that I haven't worn. Like, I packed a lot of t-shirts and it's really cold here all the time. But overall, I guess I did pretty good. I think I just like packed too much. I've been here once before, so I kind of know what the weather is like. I mainly packed just a bunch of like jeans and sweaters and like jackets and stuff. I was really just kind of playing it by ear, and I guess it kind of worked out. How is COVID stuff over there? That's actually one of the things that I've enjoyed about being here, is that people actually follow the rules and don't complain. There's no anti-mask movement here. Yeah, the regulations are a bit more strict, but I do feel that that's for the better. Obviously, England is another story. They're on a total lockdown right now. I think Edinburgh and Glasgow they're doing pretty bad, but Aberdeen, where I am, they had lockdowns this summer. And so now, like kind of right when I was getting here, things were opening back up. So like we're pretty much open now. Aberdeen is actually one of the only cities in the entire UK that is pretty much fully operational right now, which is great. And our case rate is really low. Restaurants just opened back up. So like everywhere has to close at 10. And then most places are outdoor dining. Obviously I'm not working here, so I don't really know what that's like. Honestly, just kind of seems like, oh yeah, wear your mask when you go inside, and like people actually respect distancing guidelines and stuff. It's much more low-key because it's not politicized, but it's probably also low-key here because the cases aren't exploding. I'm thinking about doing my own study abroad too. How difficult was this for you to organize? So if you haven't watched my initial announcement video about this, I will put it right there. I kind of explained the whole process. So my school, the University of Tennessee, does have the option to kind of organize your own study abroad. However, that is still like an affiliate program with other universities. Literally what I did for this was pack up and move, because all my classes at UT are online. So lots of people always ask me like, wait, how are you doing that? Like I've even had people from high school message me and be like, did you drop out? So yeah, I'm literally just doing my regular classes online. And I moved over here. But I would recommend, if you want to do your own study abroad, if you have the option to do online classes and you have the financial ability to travel, I would recommend going to a place that you've maybe already been before. I know study abroad for a lot of people is like their first opportunity to travel abroad. I say that because for me, it has been incredibly helpful to already have had a support system here. But also, if I didn't have them, I would have been dead in the water a few times. I've had huge issues with my bank since I've been here, shutting down my debit card because they suspect fraud, even though I told them I'm going to be abroad for these dates. But they've still shut it down, and I can't call internationally with the cellular plan that I have, so I can't call them to get them to fix it. So I've had to email back and forth, and my mom has had to like drive to the bank in person and like deal with it. It's been a huge nightmare. And so during those like week-long periods, it's happened twice, I haven't been able to like buy groceries or anything, so I've relied on my friends. If you don't have that sort of deal, which I know my situation is very unique, so you probably don't, but I just say definitely, if you're going to do your own thing, research the area, do your research for bank cards, bank accounts, areas, rent. Even for my Wi-Fi, you can't just pay with a debit card or credit card, like you have to have a Scottish bank account. I'd say the more straightforward route would be to get in contact with your university and have them work something out. Part of the reason that I did do this is actually because my study abroad program that I got accepted into got canceled. I guess my final answer on that is, if you have the ability to do your online classes and go abroad, definitely do your research. If it's maybe if it's somewhere you've been before, if you have friends or family there. If not, maybe wait for the time being, or if your university is doing that sort of thing, then do it. But what are some things that you didn't expect that were so different from the US? I actually have to think about this. The first thing that pops out to me is probably that driving is so much less of a thing here. Well, not less of a thing. I guess for young people at least, it's so much more of a luxury to have a car. Like everyone that I know just walks everywhere. And so I've had to walk everywhere, and it rains here all the time, and it's always cold and windy. Like I always hate walking to class in the winter and stuff, even at home. I haven't really enjoyed walking everywhere, but I'm also kind of thankful for it because it's forced me to like get to see the city more. But I also wish that I had a car just so that I wasn't limited to like a 2-mile bubble. Another thing is, you can't rent a car here unless you have a physical debit or credit card. You can prepay it online, but when you show up to the rental desk, you have to put your card in for the deposit. And when you don't have a card because somebody stole your number and you have to shut down the one that you have, you can't rent a car. Since I've been here before, and I've always been really interested in English culture, which is really similar to Scottish culture, I kind of knew what to expect, but it's really not that much different. I know there are other things, but like, thoughts on the new preppy, Aviator Nation, Golden Goose, Love Shack Fancy, etc. I guess I don't really have an opinion on it. Like, it's cute, like I don't dislike it. I actually had to look up Aviator Nation. I know Golden Goose. Love Shack Fancy I think is kind of cute. Like, there are definitely elements of it that I like. It's not really my style, but I also don't really even know what my style is. Like, I wear neutrals almost every day, but then it's either like neutrals or bright colors. I don't know, I cannot for the life of me pick an aesthetic. Like, over here we have artsy, teal, pink, Gucci, and then this is like white, black, candles, minimalist. I mean, I don't dislike the new preppy. Like, I feel like people think that just because I'm not like a preppy YouTuber anymore, I'm like, oh, but I'm definitely not. How was it traveling alone, and are you worried it will be difficult to get home? To answer the first part, traveling alone was fine. I want to say I've done it one other time before, but I don't think I have. No. What am I talking about? I've flown alone at home multiple times. I've never traveled internationally alone. It was fine. I mean, generally, even when I travel with my family, I'm the one that's like, okay, our gate's here, so we have this much time and we need to blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, like I'm the one that's stressing everyone else out. So I think since I'm usually like pretty on top of that, I knew what to do. As to if I'm worried about not being able to get home. So actually, when I told my mom that this is what I wanted to do, the first thing out of her mouth was, well, what if everything shuts down and you can't get home? Like that was her first worry, was that I'd get stuck there. And I was like, no, it'll be fine. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that even if they shut travel down, the United Kingdom cannot prevent an American citizen from going home. Like that is deemed essential travel. The only thing that really stopped me from being able to go home, I feel like, is if I caught COVID again and I had to isolate for 2 weeks. But really the thing that I've started to realize is the biggest hurdle in getting home with all of this is going to be with the airline. Obviously, if the airport's like shut down and stuff, I couldn't go home, which is what I was thinking. I was like, airports aren't gonna like shut down entirely. Like they can't do that. But since I booked my flight, I booked a round trip in like early September, and my flight has been changed twice now. Ben's flight home, which he booked a lot later, has been changed multiple times. Like he's been on the phone with them for hours. So we had our flights home from Aberdeen to Amsterdam, then to Detroit, then down to Knoxville. And so one time when they changed his flight, they literally just made it from Aberdeen connections Detroit. And he was like, okay, that's 8 hours away from where I live. Like, am I gonna have to rent a car to get home? And they're like, we're working on it. Not only are there a far more limited amount of flights, but they're also being moved around and some are canceled. So I am a little bit worried that they do move our flights home like crazy and then end up just canceling it. I really hope that I don't have to like go home later or leave earlier or something. But I mean, I know I'll get home some way or another. It just might be a big headache, which my whole life tends to be a big headache. I either have really, really good luck or really, really bad luck. So I've learned how to get myself out of situations. Where would you want to live abroad next? Honestly, I haven't really thought about this. My thoughts of where I want to live next are honestly just in like graduating and where I want to get a job, which I guess I could get a job abroad, but I've always heard from people that's incredibly hard to do. As you guys might know, I used to be obsessed with London. I guess I still am obsessed with London. That was like my dream, to live in London. And I feel like my viewpoint of it might be kind of skewed just because I'm over here with all this stuff going on, but I don't really have that desire anymore. I'm sure that will probably change when I get home. I'll be like, oh, get me out of here. I feel like being here has kind of satisfied that want for now. I would maybe still like to live in England one day. I don't really think I'd want to live in Scotland long term, just because it is 4:12 right now. I know you can't see that, and it's pretty much pitch dark. So my seasonal affective has really popped off since I've been here, and that's just not the way that I want to live. Plus it rains like every day, and I like rain, and it's too much rain here. Really, the next place I want to live is either Atlanta, Austin, like everyone else, or LA. So last question, what has school been like in another country? I'm gonna interpret this as you meaning that I'm like actually studying abroad at a school. Well, I guess I'll answer both options. To answer that, I'm not actually studying in another country. I'm studying and I'm in another country, but I'm not like doing their education program. Other side of that is just like, how has learning and everything been since I've been here? And it's been rough. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm just totally burnt out with school, totally burnt out with online learning. My last semester before I graduate feels like a marathon. I'm like, I can't do it, but I can. The time change has really thrown me off because 3 out of 4 of my classes this semester are group projects, and so we have to meet on Zoom and stuff a lot, and they always want to meet like when they get off work, which is like 6 p.m. for them, which is 11 here. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I can meet. So like there's one time they're like, sorry guys, like I'm gonna be late, but we really need to meet. The earliest I can meet is 9 p.m., which is 2 a.m. here, and I had no other option. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I met with them at 2 a.m. Luckily, I'm a night owl, and I've learned to do really well on little amounts of sleep, but just like the time change and remembering deadlines and stuff has kind of thrown me off. And it's lonely. I do miss actually being on campus, but that really wouldn't even be an option for me this year anyway. What am I gonna do? Just sit in the library? The library is half capacity and you have to book it, and you only get 2 hours there, so like it's not really worth it. Actual learning wise, not as good because it's online, and a lot of my professors have no clue what they're doing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was very rambly, but that's me, that's what you get. And I hope that I was able to answer your questions effectively. I definitely want to do another Q&A soon. I realized through this from you guys just like asking random questions in general, even though I said I wanted to do a study abroad Q&A, which I don't mean that as shade, like I get it. I guess that means that it's time for me to do another general Q&A. So definitely follow my Instagram to know when that happens, to stay up to date. Also just follow my Instagram, because follow my Instagram. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. I love your guys' comments. Follow all of my other social media down below. What I'm wearing is going to be linked as always. And yeah, I really appreciate all of that. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.